Hi everyone, thanks for coming. Thanks for responding to invitations. So we have a lot of things to discuss today. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we have 7 topics to discuss. First is backlog. We're going to go through backlog. What's been delivered yesterday. We have 3 bonus items that we didn't announce. And what's coming in the next sprint, next release. We're gonna I will share our partners landscape just to give you some insights what categories of partners we have and what challenges we have with managing each category. We're also gonna discuss challenges that we have with the market and what's our market strategy considering those challenges. We will show you the roadmap for 2025 and 2026, our internal roadmap. And next would be our plans to empower our community and we'll also discuss challenges that we have. And the last thing we're going to discuss our availability, since it was raised during the previous meeting. Public backlog. So we have updated backlog items. First of all, we have Taras. I think Taras replied to every forum item and every request that you posted here, and he added it to the public backlog. I will ask you to vote for all the new items, and even during the meeting, if you could use your votes, that would heavily help us. And this also reflects on our roadmap. I'll show you later. So in the 7.6 release that was, we released it on live websites yesterday. We have 3 new features, and this is massive. The team did a great job delivering these, and we will do. Taras will send the release notes to Adam this week, and we will have a more deep dive by Adam done shortly. So version 6 scope. So this is what's coming to WebinOne next month. There we have 3 improvements, but the most important is the advanced AI search. So this will be an extension, which will basically, it's LLM powered search that you could install on any website, and this will give you provide you with settings that you could tweak how you want the search work on the website. So this is basically an enterprise level search that will arrive on the platform. Okay, next let's discuss our partners landscape. So as of today, we have 3 categories of partners. First is strategic builders, as we call them. Those who use the full spectrum of WebinOne services. They're long-term, loyal, and bring the highest profit to the platform. They are the core to our sustainability and growth in some respect. We've repeatedly encouraged this group to join Treehouse discussions, but they rarely participate. That's the challenge we have with this group. Second group is Group B. We call them independent. There's in most cases 1-person agencies or small teams. They build everything independently, sometimes collaborate with Team 1 on some more complex stuff, or if they have an urgency. They push the platform to its limits and provide the most valuable feedback. And all their criticism is pretty much fair, and we really value all the feedback that this group of partners bring. And the Group C, we call them legacy partners, who are basically brought the websites to our platform from Business Catalyst. They don't build anything for various reasons. They either don't do business, they don't build new websites, or they build on other platforms. And the sites that they have, those who build on other platforms, they have came to us for whatever reason. It was easiest, cheapest migration, and those guys, this group of partners often is very heavy critical. As a conclusion, the voices of Group A the voices of Group A and Group B are naturally the loudest for us, as you may understand. We hope that's clearly reflected in our backlog and roadmap priorities, and we try to, that's what we try to do. That's where we try to reflect our response to this group's feedback. At the same time, we recognize we can improve our communication, and I will talk more on that later. So how do we grow with having the clientele that we have, that we inherited from Business Catalyst? So this is our market reality. We ran marketing campaigns in Google Ads to attract new agencies. But we purchased the emails of digital agencies in 3 groups. That we did a direct outreach. We ran a campaign with multiple, like a whole funnel with demos and intros and a whole bunch of stuff. And we found it's proved to be very difficult, and it's very difficult to convince an agency to make a move and switch from using whatever they use to our platform. And in order to convert agencies in masses, we must offer a very undeniable value. So similar to what we did with Business Catalyst, when we were offering the migration as a solution to a major problem, plus there was a deadline. It's going to be hard to repeat that momentum because of the EOL aspect. But we realize that we need to solve some major problems in order to and bring some significant value in order to convince agencies, especially bigger agencies. We try to target bigger agencies. We need to solve some major problem in order to convince them. So the challenge we have is stability and trust. So during the BC area, we had an end-of-life deadline and community reputation, and that's what made people to on board with us. Today, we start from zero in the wider digital agency world. And to build a lasting trust, we're acting on 3 strategic fronts. In fact, we did have a test project with one major, large digital agency here in the US, and they work with high clients and build stuff for big brands. We did a test project for them, and I will share on that how it's going further. But let's concentrate on the 3 strategic fronts that we're currently pursuing. First of all is the opportunity with AI. AI is both a threat and opportunities for agencies, for any agencies, you or any agency out there. It automates much of what agencies used to do, but it also opens the door to entirely new services and business models. Just like we once solved the Business Catalyst end-of-life problem with BC to Tripo app, we can now solve a bigger industry-wide problem, helping agencies adapt and thrive in the era of AI. So that's why we built Agent One, and we're building and investing into Agent One. So WebinOne becomes the platform that turns AI progress into agency power, giving every partner amazing, given every agency a major reason to choose us. The second strategy we have is enterprise expansion. The second front is developing enterprise-grade solutions so global organizations, nationwide brands can confidently build on WebinOne. This ensures sustainability and gives agencies proof that the platform they rely on is secure, scalable, and future-ready. Third front, where we're pursuing, where we have some efforts, is onboarding a reputable investor or partner, a system integrator, so a company that basically builds solutions for enterprises to reinforce stability and credibility. And our goal with this front is to gain strength but not lose independence. So we had offers to buy 51% of our, to consider selling 51% of our company. We have declined it, so we were looking at 5-7% max. But it should be a reputable brand we can put on our website, and this should be a channel to bring the enterprise clients to the platform, or migration projects, which is we have very high expertise in. I will show you the WebinOne pitch deck. But before that, I mentioned there's another fourth front that we're pursuing. We have two, I don't have results for that yet, but I'll just mention it. So there is an opportunity, we see opportunity in pursuing high education institutions like universities and colleges. Luckily, we have one partner who is a professor in the college, and right now they had a the front-end development class, and she suggested to present and teach WebinOne instead of Webflow. I think they had Webflow before that. And we have provided the agency portal for this project, and we will track how this goes. And we support this project as much as we can, and we give them the access to Agent One and all its tools. Also, we got a request for RFP from a system integrator to migrate websites from legacy platforms to our platform, and this will be a project we will be working on in November. But I definitely see that as an option, as a channel, pursuing students and graduates, and to encourage them building agencies, and introducing them to WebinOne as a good starting point, entering the market. We'll keep you posted on that. Now let's look at our pitch deck. So this, we hired a VP of a VC firm who helped us with this, and he helped us to build it, to create this pitch deck, and also promote it further within his network, which is in US is not a big network. It's basically everybody know each other. It appeared, I was told. So this is how it looks. I'll go through most of it, and I will explain how we presented WebinOne to our potential investors. So for years, we've been laser focused on two areas as a platform: building a robust technology stack and deeply analyzing our competitive landscape to spot real market gaps. And you guys have been part of it. We have presented this to you when we were rebranding 222 WebinOne. So our platforms is designed. So I will outline the core problems our customers face and show you what the market has to offer. So this graph shows a typical customer journey, starting small and needing to add more capabilities as they grow, which naturally increases their costs over time. So this is a journey of your customers that come to your door, a new customer, potential new customer. So mainstream do-it-yourself platforms, they serve as a good starting point, but as indicated by this red dot, they had a growth ceiling that prevents further expansion. And on the other side, we have enterprise platforms offer advanced features, but transitioning to them is complex, leaving many growing businesses uncertain about the next steps. So this brings us to what we call a migration trap, the critical challenge where growing businesses get stuck between limited do-it-yourself tools and expensive, complex enterprise solutions. There are 3 stages of the migration trap. First is the growth blocker, the point where a website can scale its features, stalling business growth. Next, business face an unpredictable, highly complex, and super expensive migration process that brings significant risks, often forcing them to rebuild everything from scratch. And finally, even after migrating, many end up overpaying for advanced features that they don't immediately need, further straining their budgets and SEO rankings. So we see a double opportunity. There are 2 opportunities for us as a platform, and we see that as one of the niches. So first opportunity is to capture SMB customers trapped in the cycle of providing an easy, cost-effective migration path to scalable solutions. And we have unmatched experience in doing this, and you guys all know that. We solve this by dramatically reducing migration costs and risks, eliminating the overpay period, and delivering a smoother, predictable transition. Our second opportunity, we're also opening up a new market for SMBs that demand a no-limits platform, one that scales effortlessly with their business growth. And you have highlighted that in the last treehouse, that our platform is good for scaling, and that's where we see our niche in. So in this market, our platform isn't static. Our platform grows alongside our customers, continuously adapting to their evolving needs and ambitions. Moreover, our pay-per-use model ensures you pay only for what you use, with no unpredictable migration fees or hidden charges. So as a result, we have a flexible platform that grows with our customers on their journey from SMB to enterprise. So these are 2 opportunities: taking share of SMB customers from mainstream platforms by solving the migration trap on their journey to enterprises. And we noticed that that's where we earn the most. That's where agencies earn the most. And the second opportunity is new SMB customers that want a no-limits platform that is able to scale with their business. So how did we get here? We successfully solved one major migration trap, the Adobe Business Catalyst EOL, by building a highly capable low-code platform with built-in migration solution, and we have retained 100% of ownership. So the second part is about Agent One. So our revolutionary AI project designed to automate and optimize all digital workflows, turning manual tasks into instant single prompt actions. The AI race. So in today's competitive digital services market, there's a race to harness AI, and let me explain why we are positioned to succeed. So the problem, AI only type and pray builders that lure you with fast demos and trap site owners to endless prompt roulette, unpredictable pay for fixed credit drains, and brittle, unscalable code they can't truly control. I don't know how much of expertise you have in playing with those AI builders, but there's already a big demand on the market. There's a big problem on the market with these builders. So our solution to this problem is Agent One, that generates code like a veteran dev, while WebinOne guarantees transparent builds you can audit, extend, and grow without limits. And opportunity is AI builders have validated demand. So as you've probably seen, those AI companies growing 50 million ARR in 6 months. And the market is hunting for the stable, future-proof upgrade path that only WebinOne can provide. So here, this diagram illustrates what happens under the hood of a typical website built on our platform, highlighting the distinct roles of developers and content managers. So we have all these areas, and we have developers, content managers, digital sites agency or site owner. So this is how the roles are distributed under the hood. Now imagine, so we have these AI agents that step in and they automate every task currently done manually by developers and content managers with one simple goal to boost speed and efficiency. Agent One is powered by multiple specialized AI agents operating on different large language models. So as new LLMs enter the market, our ecosystem lets us integrate the most efficient ones for each task. So this is our plan with Agent One. So we're building the world's first, we call it full self-development experience, and automating site creation the way Tesla automates driving. So Tesla has technically 5 levels, starting level 0, but we're, for the sake of comparison, we have 4 levels. So today we're aiming at level 2. So we want the design parser. So we have design parser that converts. We're aiming for design parser to convert Figma to HTML, CSS, JavaScript. The implementer agent that drops that code into WebinOne components. Copilot performs routine coding and content management tasks, altogether automating at least 50% of conventional coding and website management via the admin. So that's what we wanted to achieve, and we want to achieve 50% automation by the end of this year. I will show our results and what we are in our roadmap. The best results we have so far is for design parser. The last number we got, if Figma files follow the rules, is the rules that are provided, is 64%, which is amazing. And I think we will end this about our pitch deck. This is to give you a picture of where we're going with Agent One. So our focus with Agent One right now is releasing as new versions as frequently as possible. So Copilot and Design Parser new versions have been released today. Was it today? Vlad?
Yeah.
If you go to WebinOne site, it's I don't think you have. We don't have it in the status yet, or in our. Yeah, it's in the blog. So we have released a new version of Copilot. You can check it out later. And the design parser. And so like I mentioned before, our goal right now, Team One is the #1 client and user of Agent One. So right now, our internal goal is to grow Agent One to the point where we can reduce Team One services costs by at least 50%. So everybody who uses Team One, we want by the end of the year to provide for every quote to be at least 50% less than we used to quote by our standard pricing. Our next step and our current challenge is get feedback, as much feedback as possible from the partners, and get as much real use case scenarios as possible from the partners. And next is our path forward. So our roadmap from Q4 2024 to Q4 2026. If you guys want to stop me at any point, let me know. Adam, I think you said you're following the comments, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'll keep an eye on the chat.
Okay, good. So we're in Q4 2025, and the way we organize our roadmap is we also always we have at least three. We reserve at least three items, public backlog items per quarter. Then we have exclusive feature. We leave a room for exclusive feature where we need some update or change or feature or improvement, some major stuff, either for a strategic project or for our plan to gain a certain advancement that is strategically important. In Q4, we're planning to add new API docs, new trial site policy. So basically, we will, right now, we have a lot of trial websites that nobody's using, and we are going to change this policy so they will auto delete with a certain time. So there will be restrictions on the terms of new sites, of the trial sites that are not used. Next, we have Stripe elements that will come in 7.8, so in the next version. We will deliver this before end of this year. 90% of backend is done, so we have only the front end. And this one involves a lot of testing, so that's the biggest part. That's the reason it doesn't arrive in the next sprint in November. We have advanced e-commerce features that we have split into 3 iterations that we will start shipping in this quarter, and the advanced AI-powered search that is coming in this release. For the agent one, we have level 2 automation, like I mentioned in my presentation. So we are aiming to deliver the 50% plus automation, at least for Team 1, in Q4 2025. And for infrastructure, we have certain upgrades that won't be interesting for you. So this is just our internal stuff. We do have some stuff to schedule that is also internal here, but we're not going to go into that right now. So for the Q1 2026, we have 3 public backlog requests, 3+, another exclusive feature. The new admin in UI and UX, we have only 15 people fill that survey. If you could please fill it out. We have more people here in this meeting. If you could please fill it out, that would help us a lot. And the team has already started reviewing. The team will start reviewing those after this release, 2 of our designers, and we're going to start creating the mockups in Q4 and start probably presenting the mockups to the community, to at least to some partners for sure for feedback. So if you could please, if you didn't fill up the survey, please do so soon. We're going to have import and export improvements. Another Redis alternative is a performance improvement, advanced e-commerce features, and we plan to work on expanding dedicated service to Platform as a Service edition for enterprise clients. So basically self-managed cloud on WebinOne's infrastructure. For Q2, same backlog items, exclusive feature. Personalization is what we prioritize next for Q2. Advanced e-commerce feature. So basically we want to deliver all the features, all the e-commerce stuff that we are fully Shopify competitive. Let me call it that way. Stage environment for live websites, and self-hosted edition on AWS. So expanding Platform as a Service to self-hosted on-premises model for enterprise clients on AWS only, including installation package and documentation. For Q3, we only have self-hosted edition outside of AWS, so you could host websites for on other infrastructure that is not AWS. The rest is free right now, so available. We will keep you posted on that. Okay, now regarding the WebinOne community and how we can empower our community. First thing, which makes sense, and we want to do, I think makes sense to do, is to gather partners every quarter, every half. So half of the January, first half of the January, we will invite you for a quarterly meeting where we will share an updated roadmap and go through most critical things together. I think that makes total sense, and that would be a very balanced way to communicate our present and future plans. Second thing is partner success role. We had some reactive support from our team, I'll admit that. And we are working on to engage the partner success role to be more active with partners. And there is a challenge of Treehouse meeting to being independent community where we're basically, if we present something, we're guests, so we don't have full. It was created independently. We don't have full control of it, so we have to figure out with Adam how do we manage that, because basically that's the only. So the recordings are being posted. To be honest, they don't reflect always what's happening with the platform. Can give false impression of the platform to the agencies that we target, and not fully assisting with our efforts to onboard the new agencies. So we will work on that definitely with Adam, maybe united it somehow. But we definitely need to have a dedicated person on our end that is proactive in engaging and working with partners. And we also welcome your ideas on this front. So we want to, we're open to provide resources and how to engage and to empower partners and the community. Availability. So I must comment on this concern that was raised in the last Treehouse that I'm not available or our team is not available. Just for your note, I start every day with reading my emails and Slack. So, and I have 6 emails accounts and I keep them 0 unread in my inbox every day. Sometimes it takes me 2 hours, but that's just the first thing I do. And if there's a request for a call from a partner, either in Slack or email, always available, never rejected a single invitation or an opportunity to speak and to address any issues that partners have. So that has been, always have been there, and it will always will be. You have my email, it's a@webinone.com. You're always welcome to email me or write me directly in the Slack. Our product manager, Taras, is also available for all platform-related discussions and partner requests. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to let Taras wave. Where's Taras? Taras, can you wave? Taras looks like Jason Hazel, so you guys don't mix them up together. Okay, so we have Taras right here.
Yeah.
And I think Taras only met Tim, right? Like personally for a personal session, and Adam, right? You guys only met. So Taras is responsible for leading the team of developing the platform. Vlad is in charge of Agent 1. Okay, so we're almost there. Oh, we're there. Thank you. Q&A time. Any questions?
I think there are
Comments?
always questions. Can you guys hear me?
Okay. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the presentation, Alex. A lot of things you just told us I already kind of knew from our one-on-one, and I'm happy that we could do that. And I think when it comes to availability, it's a little bit something between active and proactive. I mean, I think what could give everybody better feeling if we had these meetings, what we have today, a bit more often. So, and I know that you talk about independence of Treehouse, and that's true. My proposal would be, because we call this town hall today, and we can have town halls and we can have Treehouse meetings separately. So town halls you host, you have control, you can use to build your partner success story. And Treehouse we can do independently from that. I think Adam will agree with that. To showcase, to talk about things, talk about business stuff, which not necessarily has something to do with features and company strategy. So that would be the idea. I'm very excited about the API features. I think I also told you that, and I learned more today about it. And for me, for my personal stack of clients, that's very good news. I'm looking forward to use all of them. I gave you feedback on the UX UI. It's very important. I think all partners should do that, because we run with that UX UI now for from the beginning, basically, in by the concept, still the same like when we started. So that's a very welcome change next year. I want to ask something about the trial sites. Obviously, you had to change something there because of the outage. I think it was in Australia, on the Australian server.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
related to trial sites. So good that you do something about it and that you try to make this more robust. I think what's important though is to assess what partners use trial sites for. And for me personally, I mean, there is still the concept left from BC where we could hold templates on our partner portals. And I'm pretty sure some partners still do that. So they have templates on their partner site as trial sites. I personally don't. I have trial sites which are kind of, I can't let go of. They're hibernating. They're idle. They don't do anything because it's sites I had to take offline from clients and I invested lots of work with. So there's a bit of a sentimental reason for that. That's one thing I use trial sites for, mostly, of course, for ongoing projects. And I have to say those projects can take some time. I hope you guys consider that and you get information from partners how to solve this problem and how to cope with that. Sometimes you do a pitch and I do it. I don't know how other partners do it. Sometimes I draft quickly a site from one of my templates or from one of my old sites. I put a logo in, I put colors in, and then I present it. And it sits there as a trial site. And sometimes clients need some time. So I'm always very happy to be able to say this work is not wasted. I don't have to start all over again, because if the customer comes back 4 months later or 6 months later, I can still use the work I've invested for my pitch. So that's kind of important. The third way I use trial sites, and I think this will be addressed next year with the update you just mentioned and on the roadmap, is I use them for staging. So for bigger projects, like complex stuff which is growing for a few years now, I like to make a copy and try out things on the copy, which is a trial site. Also, I like to test updates on the trial site, especially when it's a site which has features, using tricks, using certain ways of coding which worked for some time, or which worked when I did them, but might not work after an update because they were out of spec or whatever. Or there is a bug in the update, which can happen. So that's how I basically find them. And that's also what trial sites are important for. So I hope you guys will consider that and kind of have a little bit of a questionnaire with partners about that before you implement any auto-deleting auto-deleting sites. So we wake up one morning and important stuff is gone.
No, this is how it's going to work. You're basically going to be able to mark some of your sites as templates.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be an expiration. Okay, Taras, can you make a note on the policy that we have confirmed and share the designs in Slack so we give a preview of this feature as it is right now? Maybe we could get a feedback.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want, like, the main problem was with the trial sites is that we just have too many of them, and like 90% of them, they didn't have any usage like for more than 12 months. And the way it creates some problems infrastructure wise. So we decided we need to clean up all the old stuff. Like, we have a lot of migrations that didn't go live. And so we want to do the policy so we don't remove trial sites from your portals without your permission or without first releasing the policy.
Will we be able to extend those dates on trial sites in case we have a client and the client needs more time, or we just need more time for development? I mean, some sites, the bigger sites, I'm working on 2-3 very big sites, which will have a delivery time roughly between 3 and 6 months.
We definitely went through every scenario that we currently have, how people use trial sites. So this will be described in Taras when Taras posts things on Slack for sure. So I will leave it to him to post it there. Regarding the community, I think it's a good idea, like town hall. I'm not sure, but the name, maybe we could use it, town hall. I probably prefer quarterly meetings. Yeah, if we could do that together. Regarding the treehouse, that's where we really want to encourage partners and somehow influence, bring positive vibe to the meetings. And from my perspective, my only idea was, we just have a person that is 24, whose full-time job is to work with partners and bring all the progress, all the great things on the surface, including the treehouse meeting. So that's the only idea I have on my end, and to have that resource to be dedicated to that particular direction. If there's any other ideas, and I'm open to that.
I think even on Treehouse, I think I speak for everybody. One of you, if you want to join Treehouse, you or Taras or Vlad or anybody, Violetta, I think you can do that, and it's appreciated because it kind of connects us a little bit. Like, you are also part of Treehouse. It's not only partners. That's how I see it. It's a place to meet, and we all are kind of connected through this platform. And to me, you're always I would appreciate one of you or more of you be part of Treehouse and be there, so you can tell us how it's going on your side, and we have the feeling that you hear. I know that you watch the recordings. That's I don't know, but to have someone there to be able to just talk to and have a face and have a voice gives confidence, because all of this is really virtual. And we have a worldwide community. We don't have a place to go to. Most of the partners don't have the chance to see you in person or talk to you in person. or to anybody in the team. So that's important. I think that would help to connect us a bit more with the team and you guys.
My challenge is I want to define the goal of these meetings and where to define the frequency. So, for example, if it's Treehouse, or like if it's every month, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, every sprint. So there's but I can't really force my control because it's not my territory. So we definitely I agree that somebody must be present. So I think right now, as I think it should be a dedicated person that works with partners directly. That's definitely a must-have. But I think we will discuss internally with Adam how we make it more systematic and have maybe define topics, make it maybe more attractive for everybody, for especially for the most active partners. That's for sure. So yeah, that blurriness is, there's some blurry area that I'd like to clear up. I'm really keen to hear your feedback on our strategy, on our niche, in our where we are going, and how is it clear for you guys how how's the roadmap looking, and how do you have any questions in that part? Totally open for that criticism in that area, since we spend a lot of time and a lot of effort defining where are we going, and this whole rebranding and a new pricing model was part of this big shift and big change, and it's been quite a journey to separate ourselves from the BC legacy and to basically start building our brand from scratch and trying to find our niche and our direction in this very shifting world where AI is just transforming things everywhere. It seems like we're more, I wouldn't say threatened, but we are more intimidated and excited about the AI and its change. Like I'm considering it's like major, and I'm all in that, and I don't want to miss out, and I really don't want, I want to be on top of that wave rather than under. It feels maybe bigger for me than anybody else. I would love to hear your feedback and your ideas on that. Probably maybe some discussion, some arguments as well. A group A partners not interested in joining meetings such as this one. I don't know. We asked them. Some of them are here, but I don't want to call names. Hey guys, if you don't visit Treehouse meetings often, but you are here today, if you want to answer, you could answer that. We have Sue, we have Warren, Andy. Okay, on the trial sites, I believe we're going to address everything in Slack. You guys are welcome to respond to Taras.
Just maybe quickly, Alex, to your partner grouping. As you know, we love the platform. We think it's a great platform. But the reason we might have not put new sites on in the past, or losing sites, is not because we don't want to use it. It's because of the market behavior and the way the market's changing.
I understand, and we want to adapt to the changing market. If you have insights about the changing market, we're always welcome there.
Yeah, I'm happy to sit down with you, Alex, one-on-one, to talk to you what we're experiencing, the way we're quoting, what we're facing in the market. I think that might give you a bit of an understanding. At least I can only talk about here in Australia. I'm not sure if others feel the same a little bit, but
well, I will follow you up on this one.
No, happy to, Alex.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We also heard a comment that we are now going enterprise, and I'd like to change that perspective. We do see growing we're positioned to grow our platform and grow its features more into enterprise, but it doesn't mean we are not growing the mainstream market coverage. So we do. That's why we started the pricing, starting $10 a month, and the features that we are adding to the platform, and we will be adding to the platform, that will also target that area as well. Starting with e-commerce, the on-site editor. Super happy to see how partners use that feature, and we include it in every plan. And it would be great if we could show, Tim, for example, if you could show and highlight how you use on-site editor, we would be happy to promote it. It's a great, this one of the highlights of the platform that we get a lot of positive feedback from, because clients don't like working in the admins. They like to work on page. And with Agent One, we have an opportunity to extend that into a chat window. It's a fairly easy agent to develop, having the on-site editor and the co-pilot together. So that's definitely targeting a lot of mainstream platforms area and landscape.
I'm happy to present that on a Treehouse Adam. You might want to make a note. I can showcase like our latest project and how we used on-site editor for that. I think there's some like 90%. There are some limitations, and I think that's an opportunity to talk what you can do and what you can't do. And maybe that's also, again, interesting for you guys. So you get inspiration on how to improve it.
Absolutely.
So that would be really cool if you do a treehouse about on-site editor. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The whole subject we talked about AI on our one-on-one. I would really like to know, because I don't see myself use it like that. And I saw in your graph earlier on, you mentioned that basically the AI is producing in a way that we can take over and scale up what the AI has done. I still need to try that. Unfortunately, it's like lots to work at the moment, so I can't afford just to make a trial project to test all of this out. But I just wanted to mention, and I wanted to hear other partners' opinion about that. When I develop sites, and it's a complex site, it's very important that the code is documented. And if the code is not documented, it's first of all very difficult to do something for this client a year later, because I don't understand what I've done. And it's also difficult to take parts of one project and use it for a different project, the modular approach I'm doing. So I would like to know if partners already used Agent One, especially the implementer, and what experience they had with that. And it's all questions I have, like, is it what's with Bootstrap? What's with frameworks in general? Is it using frameworks, or can I tell? Is there like kind of a prompting feature that I can tell, please develop this design for me using Bootstrap 5.x or what? How much I can standardize that, or do I always get very custom solution? And I think I mentioned this when we talked, that my fear is a little bit that we get different approaches every time we ask the implementer to turn a design or like turn code into a WebinOne solution. We get different solutions, because that's what you usually get in a AI chat environment. You never get the exact same answer. you get like a modified solution. And that's a bit of like triggering me, because I like to have one way I do things, and I like to recreate that way and extend that way and scope this way up. And I would have problems with an AI way of developing stuff where, you know, each side has a different approach to solve the same problem. So anybody who can give us feedback on AI here from the partners. Has anybody who is here today used the implementer, for instance? Raise your hand.
Levels of development skills, and that some of us might not be as advanced. There's a comment by Megan. I think there's so many different levels of development skill, and that some of us might not be as advanced. Well, that's why we need feedback. Like if it doesn't work, we want to hear it doesn't work. If you're using a Copilot, we encourage you to provide the feedback right from here. We're probably going to put the feedback icon right on top in the future release, but right now you can see it in the About Copilot page. But I really want to share my vision and about the AI progress and how we reorganized our company. And the LLMs are progressing every week. We want to, the vision we have is we want to build the team. So now we have a separate department, Agent One department. So we have a separate team that leverage that LLM progress on a constant basis into our platform, into our product. That way we're sure that we're on top of that progress, and we have a strategy that we're not swiped away by the AI progress in the end. So I don't know the capabilities of the LLMs in a month. I just have no idea. No, I can guess, but I know that I have a team that keeps track of it and experiments and implements its progress into our agents. So I know that our products, our AI products, and our platform is up to date with the AI. In order to allow it to give it the most practical application, we need feedback. We need more use cases. The most reliable way to get the most practical feedback is make your team use it. So that's why we have the Team One forced to use it as much as possible and to provide the feedback to the Agent One team. More general, in order for us to make it a more general, more mainstream product, we need the more real use case scenarios from the partners. If the feedback is only negative and you guys have no use of it, okay, we need to hear that. We need to somehow remove that to make that threshold easier and build new agents, change our agents. But the whole point is to automate, for the Agent One is automate everything that you do manually to make it for it to be made by the agent, by the AI. Yes, Peter.
Hey guys. So I just wanted to make a small comment to what Tim was saying about the AI agent. We've tried it, we've tested it, and Tim, I totally understand that it's hard for it to like. I understand your concern about not having the documentation and can do like whatever, and maybe it works, but if you need to like edit it, you could run into a problem. One of the greatest things I've ran into and I've tried was the whole thing that it's when it's integrated as it is, you can also make it do like very stupid things that you would normally use, like you would spend a lot of time doing. It could be like doing a custom module and you need like 20 custom properties. That's image 1, image 2, image 3. You could basically just tell it to say, make these fields for me, and it will go into the custom module, it will do the properties for you, and that will just save you a bunch of time with like very stupid jobs. You could also make it like just add these pages with this and this name. So when you start to think of it as not just an agent like ChatGPT that you could just ask a simple question, but you can automate, you can make it do something for you that normally maybe would take you some time, but would be like very time consuming. That's at this stage, that's what I've found like saved me the most time, because if you can use it as like another employee to just do like very simple stuff, but that will take you a lot of time. So I think if you start by thinking about how you could do that, because we do things again and again and again, you could also ask it to like do a menu for you that you would need to do like manually. You would need to like go into the menu, do all these types of different, if you have like 100 like menu items. So I think that's what I've found the most like interesting at this point.
Vlad, can we show a quick demo how it creates menu?
Menu?
Yeah, like Peter suggested.
I'm quite sure it can, but I just did it with custom module items like properties, because I needed to do like image 1, image 2, image 3, and then I was like, well, maybe it can do that as well, and it sure can.
Regarding tutorials, it's a great idea. I'm reading the comments. I thought we would first get the first batch of feedback from partners. We would so some real case scenarios. Like that's the main complaint from Eugen, that he's like, give me the scenarios, and I will repeat them, and I will and then we will come back to the partner and say, hey, your scenarios that didn't work, now it works, check it out. So we thought we're going to get the scenarios from you, make them work, make sure they work fluently, and the next thing would be nicely asking Adam to make those video tutorials. The idea about the agent, the team one showing the cases falls into that same flow. I agree. That's a great idea. Regarding the Figma, thank you for that. I'll comment on that, Jack, in a second. Regarding the Figma, very good comment. Why we were so focused on Figma, and why invested so much into that agent. So like I mentioned earlier, we were trying to land 2 large agencies, like big agencies that use mainstream platforms that have hundreds of websites in their portfolio, have big brands. So one of them is not using Figma, but because they have their own interest in niche. But the other one is like a mainstream agency that is heavily using Figma, like any other mainstream agency. So Figma is a mainstream product that replaced Photoshop for designing websites, especially complex websites and enterprise websites and mid to enterprise, higher budget websites. So, and we want to target that market. So and like I said in my presentation, we want to target the solve major problems for the mainstream market. So we took the workflow, we took a test project from that agency, and they have a very large library of layouts in their Figma. So basically, they have 25 layouts for homepage for different sections, and then they use it like a builder. In the end, they have a custom website basically built from those sections from their library, from their Figma library, and these are all are designed and structured by rules. So, and they have a very quick and efficient flow from the RFP to the design. Everything is super quick. So what we did, we said, okay, if we build an agent that takes Figma files that are structured in a predictable way, we can then convert it into HTML and CSS with on the hand-coded level. If we have that, the next step, we can implement it. We can have an engine that can implement it. And that way we can save a lot of money for agencies like this one that use that flow, that develop custom develop websites. So we asked that agency, hey guys, can you give us a project that you already did and give us a time, just give us the Figma files and give us and let our agents and our developers finish it for you. So together, agent one and team one. So we developed it for them. Spent 75 hours, I guess. So we didn't charge for it. We brought it to them along with a list of bugs they have on the live website. And they say, hey, this is what our QA found on your website, and this is what we developed. We developed the very same site, this very same functionality on our platform from the same Figma files you guys developed it on our competitor's platform. They looked it up, how much their team spent on it. Their team spent 150 plus hours. There was a 50% savings for them, for the owners. I met the owners twice physically. Then we did met on Zoom. They were super excited. Like, this is amazing. And the pricing for the platform is right. They actually appreciated our pricing model, and that you don't have to upgrade to a next plan, but you can upgrade feature by feature. So they're excited about the savings. The next thing is integrated with the team. That was the hardest part, because the team, they have a fairly large team overseas, is not happy about the idea of some platform coming in with its agents and with its team taking their stuff. So there was this resistance that is still going on, and they're figuring out this, internally. So I hope it's going to land with that agency. We really hope we're going to work out, but it's been, we spent a lot of time, and we did a great demo. The team did an amazing job. But that's the whole thing about the Figma. That's where we went to that route, and it's mostly related, to the new agencies and for the agencies, our existing customers that use Team One to design stuff. So now, for them, we hope by the end of this year we can cut design and development cost by 50%. Regarding existing clients, a majority of our clients that came from BC, they use Copilot as the thing that an implementer are the agents that are more relevant to you. So that's why we are asking for feedback from you guys. Tim suggested the VS Code extension. Makes sense at a certain point when we take Copilot to a level where it performs on a mainstream level, so we could make it as an extension plugin and then promote it separately outside of the platform, maybe, or as a separate asset for marketing.
I think what Peter just said clicked with me, because for my personal workflow, something like implementer, for the reasons I described early on, documentation and all of this, and uncertainty about the outcome of the result, the implementer is probably not something for me, for my personal development flow. But the Copilot in the admin, that totally makes sense, because it's more or less the way I'm using AI in development at the moment anyway. So the way I use AI is mostly with GitHub Pilot on VS Code. And it's doing exactly that. It's taking on repetitive tasks. It's sometimes doing complete coding, mostly JavaScript, but also turning for instance, that would be a subject for a treehouse again, by the way, because there's some really useful stuff, of course. And Copilot in WebinOne can supplement that because it can create directly on the platform. I get this. I think a VS Code extension could not do that because you need direct access to the platform. So that being considered, I think what a VS Code extension could do is probably be a bit more in regard to the special liquid language WebinOne is using. Like there are some special things with WebinOne liquid which could be considered, which GitHub Pilot doesn't know, because GitHub Pilot is basically, I think most of the solutions GitHub Pilot is giving me comes from Shopify, just for the fact that it created the most training data. So if I do something on GitHub Pilot and Liquid is involved, it's mostly a solution I have to edit because it looks to me like a Shopify specific Liquid implementation. So that would be great. So yeah, I would like to do like the same with on-site editor. I like to talk about my work. I'm just like someone who likes to talk about his work. So you guys can take advantage of that. And I can present how I work with AI on a treehouse. I can show that. My very personal, probably flawed and awkward way to work with AI. And we can all have a look at it and then see how other developers are working. And I also hear what Megan said. I mean, the thing with how different partners have different levels of development or like kind of different skills in terms of also different clients probably, right? Like that's super interesting to learn, I think, in the community. How do you actually do sites? How do partners create their product? And what are the products? I think that's super diverse. And when you showed me that graph with the development line, like starting with Webflow on the lower left side and going all the way to Contentful on the upper right side, that was always something I appreciated so much about Triple and WebinOne and also BC before that you can start very slow and with low skill set and grow with the platform. That's how I did it with BC. I started using BC without any Liquid knowledge. Then I learned Liquid. That gave me a lot more opportunity. And WebinOne can do this even better. So if it comes to like the problems, what problems can WebinOne solve for agencies? I'm not sure about agencies. I mean, you tried that with the whole Figma AI approach. Think you will get there, but the unique selling point for WebinOne is exactly that experience that I can basically start with a very minimalistic site and use the same skill set for a very complex site.
Mm-hmm. But you are an agency. You're just a different type of agency, and you are our target audience.
I basically compete with agencies because
for us, your competitor and you are our target audience. We just have different types, and we're just appeal to different aspects. Like, for example, in your case, which is a great case, is we empower one-man shop to deliver like a full-scale digital agency. In the example that I gave for this agency that we're targeting, their number one problem right now, they have more projects coming in than they can deliver. So
maybe get me in touch with them, and I can.
We have an NDA with them. I can't even show the projects that we did for them. It's been challenging communication.
I give you
Yeah.
one example because that's why I say this. If there's any agency who has too much projects on their hand and kind of wants a solution for that and is considering WebinOne for that. I'm working with a global company who has a couple of brands, and they already have websites out. And I happen to have the luck to have an insight in that company because of a partner I'm working with. So what's stunning to this company is how quickly I can basically offer a solution for a problem they have with their current website, which I find super easy to solve because of the flexibility of the platform I'm using, and which I hear from the internal team of the company who's working with their current implementation and their current platform, that that's just not doable. For them, that's just not doable. And I can say, well, no, I can do this. And I basically was able to pull up a demo of that within like 2 days, net 2 days. It took me a bit longer because I have other things to do, but I needed one. Once I sat there and did that, I had 1 or 2 days to pull up a demo to show them how this could work on their side. And I think that's a unique selling point for WebinOne. I don't know how this fits in the cohesive strategy of you guys approaching and pitching to agencies, but if you want me to talk about that, I can always talk about that.
You have just described one of 3 personas that we have, that we determine with our brand strategy. So you basically explained this whole no limits concept that we came to in your example. We realized that, okay, we have to push the limits of the platform so that one-man shops can deliver stuff that a full-scale agency can. That's the whole thing about extending the liquid, because you don't have to, it's easy to learn. And if we grow the capabilities of liquid, we grow your capabilities. So this you perfectly described it. And it's a gold mine for us. So we're trying to figure out how to land people like you and one-man shops to the platform. And I described the challenges. Also, it has a huge potential to build a community around with those people. So that's also our challenge. How do we do that? And the pricing model, I know we hear a lot of criticism. I know where mostly it's coming from because a lot of sites have increased in price, but we don't have websites that we're paying for to host on our platform. We solved a lot of internal problems, but the pricing model, with all its criticism, does prove it. That does prove this whole concept of growing gradually with the customer and its needs, following his growth. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it, Tim.
I would like to connect this with what Megan was posting in the comments, because that kind of capability of scaling up and solving solutions of all kinds is something I gathered over years, and mostly at BC times, because there was a network of like institutions on the net who would teach you. Most probably here still remember BC Gurus and their videos. And this is how I approached the whole liquid. Was like, I was kind of a little bit scared when I went into this direction. And I even didn't use the whole API and module data, which was offered on BC. So I went there slowly. I started with someone using the product out of the box, and something like Academy, BC Academy, BC Gurus helped me. So what I would advertise for is having a strategy of creating a community in which these support networks exists, like teaching and training, and make it attractive for other partners to do that. That's more long-term strategy. But what also fits in this strategy is what also BC gurus did. They developed templates and made them available for other partners. They developed modules, made them available for other partners. So having an ecosystem in which we as more developed partners, or like partners who have a bit higher tech stack or more experience with complex development, are able to teach other partners and get the value back in one form or the other, or be able to develop and then put stuff on the marketplace and grow the ecosystem by that. That's something I always would advertise for, and hope that this is also part of your long-term strategy, because I think that's important. So also because partners, like what Megan just described, I don't know, Megan, what kind of projects you're taking on, but I think if there is a challenge, then it is like a mid-tier company coming to you and having a problem, and then you know that you can solve it because the platform can it, but your knowledge is not there yet. So you would need a framework to get that knowledge, and that would help. That would also help to grow the platform.
That's another idea for an agent. We can have an agent, or even Copilot, extend Copilot, where you can ask, hey, I have this request from a client with this functionality. Can I do that with WebinOne? Technically, we can train it, feeding it with
I think you can
examples.
use. I think you can use agents for training as a supporting thing. Like GitHub Copilot is always explaining the solution you ask for, which I find good for training. But I think something like a BC or like a WebinOne Academy would also give like overview and structure and framework to that, like to get a starting point. To help also maybe as a marketing tool, because I had this meeting with Taras and Violetta the other day, and I made a document about advantages other platforms have over WebinOne when it comes to training or persuading developers to take the platform on. And one of the reasons is, and I mentioned that competitor here, it's Shopify. Shopify has an academy. So, and they advertise that. They use this for advertisement on their partner page and say, you know, you have this, you have this, you have this, and you have Shopify Academy. So even though you can use agents for training, that might be part of the academy, but to have something like an institutionalized teaching environment, I think that would be important. I would like appreciate if we had one day a WebinOne Academy where we can put all of these ideas together, and with help of AI agents, make it more. It's probably quicker to establish an academy like this with like agents, but I don't think agents or like they substitute that, or they that's why we don't need an academy, because we have agents and everybody can do this on their own and ask the questions. And I don't think so. I think that the network is important, and the impulse of skilled, like senior developers, is important to like show what can and what cannot be done.
That's something to consider. We do have Peter with raised hands, and I will comment on Jack's comment about the template after that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, for us, it's also as you just said, it's the building of like scaling that's the important part for us, and like as a small agency, we can still develop big solutions because of you guys and because of what you give us. And if we like get into trouble, we can just pay you for doing it for us. So we really appreciate it. And I think these are all great topics that we should take on to a treehouse meeting instead. So just wondering if there was any other questions instead of this.
Agree. Mr. Eric.
Probably what would be also helpful, and I would love to have a discussion with all the partners, how they sell the platform and how they're facing the same issues that we have in the marketplace. Because as you know, and probably everyone, when you put in a quote, there's always a WordPress quote. You know, you're always fighting against the enemy there. So I would love to have a chat and exchange experiences on how you sell the platforms. What's, you know, your point of difference? What's your approach? How can we beat? You know, because obviously we don't like to use WordPress, but you know, if anyone's interested, happy to have a meeting about that.
I'd love to get insights from that meeting for sure.
Adam and me were talking about this, dedicating maybe a part of Treehouse or for this kind of questions, like how's the market looking like? How do we sell? What approaches do we have? Like sales pitches and all of this. Independent from the platform.
Sorry, Tim, that's probably also, Alex, maybe helping you how to promote the platform, because I see, because we don't white label, yeah? So yes, I know your target audience, your persona is the agency, but our clients look at the website, they maybe look at the Facebook, and also clients start their journey with maybe selection of a system online. It's not necessarily they go to an agency and say, okay, what are you recommending? They might have had systems in the past. They heard WordPress is the best. They might want to get off WordPress because it's shit. But you know, we don't white label, so they look at your platform and it's or your Facebook, and it's very technical. It's not really appealing to an end customer. So that's maybe some things we can go through as well.
We can. That's a good point. The thing is, the challenge for us with the pricing model, with partner fee, with white labeling, we had to somehow balance what we inherited from VC, which you guys get used to, with what market has to offer. So we can't just, you know, turn off partner fee for no reason.
I'm not talking about fees, I'm talking of communication, you know, what's on there, but what's the content on there, or how can we make it a bit more attractive so it actually looks appealing to an end client as well, not only for an agency.
Open to that.
Yeah.
We do have to, there is a need to adapt to the, you know, the current market, especially with AI. I was going to talk about that because things are changing radically. Would love to hear if you guys have already a backslash from your customers that, hey, I built it myself, unlovable or whatever. What do I need you for that? So definitely would love to hear that. So yes, let me make a note. I think we have a meeting with Adam to discuss all this. Do you have somebody else who wanted to say something? I think.
Can I just ask? Sorry, you can hear me. Hi, Alex.
Yeah.
It's all very interesting. Can I just ask, like, big picture, one of your biggest challenges is picking up as many partners as you can. Is that correct? Like one of your biggest aims is building your partner base.
Well, our number one goal, of course, is to increase our revenue. That's the way how there are just multiple ways how you can do that. But partners in the long term, of course, onboarding partners is the key thing to achieve that.
Because I'm not, and it's all very good. I don't want to get too caught up in the AI, but I understand it's important to understand. I find if I picture myself as a new partner looking for a new platform to bring my clients to quote work through and to get to know. I will immediately look at that platform and see what the depth of the community is, what the support is around the platform, and what tools I can use, obviously, to make it easy to use as a business, to build my business from. And one of the most successful parts of Business Catalyst back in the day was when that you could really just use that as a really easy tool to profit from in a business. my I guess my limitation, where I think a lot of us are still, the whole world's trying to grapple with AI and how you can monetize it easily as a quick and easy way to try to introduce to your business. But I think one of trying to build new partners or get new partners on the platform, like we just need to know that it's an easy platform to use, that I can scale it, that I can build and quote anything that is I can, that comes my way as a business, and I can implement without too many headaches. Look, I don't want to sort of probably feel like I'm stating some of the obvious here, but I feel like we could get caught up in the AI race and miss some of those essential tools or pieces of that. The main aim is being a really helpful support to agencies and designers and developers to on-sell and build websites. I know. Hopefully that just gives you some insight, but we've got to try and attract more partners. And me in the community, I want to try and help you do that.
I agree that new partners are onboarding new partners is driven, number one, by the profit that they can get. So that's the number one thing. And I see, as mentioned in my presentation, so they're basically looking for that major reason to switch, similar to the momentum we had with the BC2 Triple and Triple itself with the UL. So we need to offer them some major reason that offers them, promises them profit. That's definitely the number one thing. And I think that we can leverage that with AI, with our agents, taking them to that, to the level where they provide so much room for margins that people will be able to ready to switch from WordPress and other platforms. Regarding the AI race, I understand we're concerned about, we just lose ourselves in the AI race, and that's been what I've been doing in this year. Actually, this whole year is how do we position ourselves in this AI race so we don't. How do we balance by not losing anything important and and keep focus on other important things. So that the way how we do it, we built this complete new department that is responsible for determining what AI technologies are, what are their potential, and how do we implement them on a systematic basis. So I don't have to worry about that. Now Vlad is responsible for this, the best person to be responsible for it, doing an amazing job. And Taras has picked up Vlad's work by running the platform. They closely work together. Community is an important thing. I agree with that. And that's something that helps people to make the right decisions. I'm open that's a thing that I have less grip on. I'm open to provide resources and invest into that. I guess I need more ideas right now and how to do this. Maybe on-site academy that we just start, internally and we run. With BC, it was always a third party. It was somebody doing that and having that as separate business. We can discuss that. Maybe that's a route, or have running a separate agent that teaches people how to do that. We have the student program that we're testing with one partner, so maybe we could grow that part as well. Regarding back to, so I hope I addressed.
Can I just on that, and I want you to keep talking, but I just want to add, whenever we look at a new platform and consider taking on a new platform as part of our business model, it really heavily hits support. you come in early and you spend a lot of time in their support area, you spend a lot of time in their community area and in their documentation. And after, you know, a year or so, you get used to it. You don't need to lean on that as much. But bringing new partners, they really will make their decisions based off some of those aspects of the platform, how well it's supported, how they can easily solve problems, and they'll make judgments really easily, because you don't want a client. No one wants to quote a job, use a platform at which you feel like you're taking risks with maybe some advanced technology functionality, and you can't deliver it, or you can't get it built properly or on time, and you just end up, it becomes a bit of a car crash with the client. That's just, it's a bit nerve-wracking as taking on a new platform. So that's what that is one of the areas to take on new partners, is you really need to have a very impressive support environment in all its aspects. There's things that Tim was mentioning, you know, knowing there's a good community, knowing there's all the answers to your questions, and there's videos and all that. That's I'm just trying to help with.
That makes sense.
People come to the new platforms. We are heavily leaning on support to make a decision.
That makes sense. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's a good point. We do have, by the way, we're working on an agent that will help us with our existing support, that will speed up the response. We're currently training it on all our successful tickets, which are through over the years. So with a goal to give it it provides human-like responses live, not just generic stuff. But I see what you mean. I think I have some ideas that will turn into action.
Sorry, Alex, I'm just going back to a previous question in the chat from Jack.
From Jack, yes, that's a good one. It's right on time. We were actually discussing with our lead UI designer that regarding the templates, because templates are also changing the way how people use templates. This is now changing most of our templates. I think there's only one template or couple we have on Figma, but they all use Photoshop. Most of them use Photoshop. So we had an idea we were discussing and brainstorming the idea of taking our Max template, and basically the template that has all the features and functionality of the platform, and creating a similar template on Figma for now, where we have multiple layouts, multiple scenarios, all the functionality available, possible on the platform, and we make it design parser friendly. So basically, you take the template, you build a new website off of it, and then you deploy it, and then you convert it to HTML and CSS with design parser, and then deploy it with the implementer, bringing that custom design, custom development, quality and experience to your end customers. So that's the latest idea, and when we brainstormed, we flagged to give it a try internally for templates. If you have any ideas how we can take it further, open to that.
So there's no question from Andy in the chat relating to templates as well from ThemeForce.
Have you considered the make an agent one? If you could help me answer that. So it makes total sense. So ThemeForce is still number one provider for themes. If we could take that and have train implementer work with those, that would be such a no-brainer, to bring more customers in. But it's really my understanding, Vlad, if you could add anything to it, it's little challenging to make it universal for every HTML, CSS that comes from different vendors on ThemeForest. Am I right?
Yeah, some templates could be really challenging in implementing part. Like one of the Drupal sites that we would try to implement, they have had like such thing like the header that has unique background image and texting, and it's all like that is a template for the whole page. It has the same, but this texting and images are different for every single page. And it's really right now it's really challenging to implement that. You're using the simple implementer capabilities, so it's like requires some kind of custom module implementing or a set of snippets or something like that in order to achieve this functionality. So this kind of sites or templates could be challenging, but most of them probably could be migrated or could be implemented without any problems. So once the implementer achieves the ability to implement the modules, I guess it's a good point to try to migrate some ThemeForest templates and see how it's working. And or train the implementer on those set of templates.
There's also like Template Monster is a good source, and it has a category just for HTML templates, like ones that aren't for WordPress or Joomla or anything like that. So maybe if you just look at implementing like templates that are deliberately coded only as HTML, like they're not.
Well, isn't that HTML, CSS only templates are limiting? Because you're kind of stuck with a lot of bloatware and stuff that, you know, the layouts that they have. My understanding was that if you go from Figma, you're definitely going to have a better HTML, CSS with a design parser than you're going to get the HTML, CSS from ThemeForest. So if we do have the layouts with all possible scenarios in Figma, it's way more flexibility and less limits for you when you design, because you basically design whatever you want using those layouts, and then you get a clean HTML, CSS off of it. And that there we can build this whole chain from design to WebinOne because we have everything under control. So that's my dilemma with templates, and I think Jack is using templates a lot. If you could give your insight on it, maybe help us define that concept better. I don't know who else is using templates, and what are your limitations with ThemeForest? Yes, Andy, please.
I think one of the situation with ThemeForest is there's really two angles on it. One is the ability to obviously buy a ThemeForest theme and then use that HTML, CSS structure with Agent One to build out a site in Treble. So it would see the menu, build out the menu, it would, see other components and build out custom modules. So on. The other angle, though, is to have sites that are already pre-built or themes that are pre-built already with WebinOne. So you go on there and buy a WebinOne theme. It's all ready to go. Everything's in place. And for an agency, I think it's a great place to start. But it's also going to attract other agencies because they're going to see those themes. So that's the angle, I think, really where the opportunity lies, is to have pre-built things in ThemeForest that people can purchase and get onto the platform.
Yes, Tim.
That's exactly how it works with WordPress competition. There's one client who changed over to WordPress, and the agency behind it is actually a fairly big one. And they just use WordPress templates. And They have popular WordPress templates they use all the time, so they know how to work with. So that's an easy game. If you have like something like that on the WebinOne side, that could be an advantage for, apparently in this case, something attractive for agencies. And to answer,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, to answer your question early on, what makes templates attractive compared to a dedicated solution where you only create the CSS, the code you need for that particular solution. In my case, is that I'm using not several templates. I'm using basically the same template for all my sites. That's because it's a very versatile template. And the advantage I have with that, although there is bloat behind it, of course, if it was a problem for my clients, I would consider changing that. But there's no issues with loading speed. It's a very good template. And the big advantage is that it's all interchangeable. I literally don't have, I can build on sites I did before and transfer code, including the front-end code. And I know exactly what to do to change the front-end design and I know even the issues with the template. I know what's not so well done to repair that. So it's a very easy way to scale up working with templates for me in that workflow.
Well, I now realized why I'm so resistant to typical conventional templates approach. For me, it's limits. So, and that does, if we just go that typical route, it doesn't really fit with our no limits motto and our no limits vision. So the challenge and the goal, the task is to create a template solution for partners that, like you say, is versatile enough, more versatile than a generic template usage, and that doesn't limit you in customization part as the typical templating flow. Yes, sir.
I think it depends. It really depends on the template. I mean, I've gone through like a dozens of templates which didn't do the job, which were very limiting in what I could do with them, and very limiting in how I can customize them until I found a template which is so good and so well maintained that it's not putting limits on me, because it's basically like a big, it's like if you compare it to Lego, everybody knows Lego. Like Lego 70 years ago only had a few bricks. This template is like Lego in the 25 years. It has all kinds of bricks which you can do literally everything with. And the point is, it really depends on the template when it comes to the limits.
I made some notes on that.
Well, I think that's not the point here. Everybody has their favorite.
Some notes on this whole template. Some ideas. Adam, you want to add something on that?
Yeah, so like I don't particularly use templates for all of those reasons too. Like there's a lot of bloat in them and things like that. And I definitely like the approach you're getting at, Alex, where you want someone to use Figma because you've got all your elements, you can put them together like Tim said, like Lego, and build them out. But the problem is I don't want to have to go learn Figma and keep up with Figma and go through that third-party step and then try and convert it. What I'd rather do is do that in WebinOne. So have the components in WebinOne. And I think that's more getting to like WordPress has with, is it Elemental? They have like a plugin that's a builder. But then you're leading down that road of being a DIY site builder, which I don't like either. So there's this balance there, which is extremely powerful. I would like to be able to just pull in elements and theme them and build them. But I want to do it in WebinOne.
When I hear do-it-yourself builders, I hear limits. That's bloatware. It's just try to stay away from that. But maybe we could solve it with AI, integrating AI.
And I just jump in quickly. Well, because we were talking about unique selling points, and now I hear builders. One of the big downsides of builders for me is that the code builders generate and also WordPress is generating is, for me, it's like always like a black box. The very attractive thing about WebinOne is I can look at the site in the browser. I can check the code. I can check via inspector, and I see exactly what has been done. And it's the code. What I put in WebinOne is what I get out of WebinOne. There's no cryptic CSS classes. There's no cryptic JavaScript, whatever DOM manipulation things. Like I see this in WordPress or other big platforms even. That's, for me as a developer, that's a big advantage. Maybe you should mention this too. I don't know if that's for other developers the same, but I find it very easy to debug sites this way.
I agree with you on this. Absolutely. We actually had we're migrating one Wix site and one Drupal site right now. So the Drupal migration, we have extractor that pulls everything, and implementer is implemented. No problem. And we tried to train implementer to extract and implement the Wix website. It's SPA, it's single page application, a lot of bloatware, unscalable. It's not agency level stuff. It's not professional stuff. So that's why we're trying to avoid that. For that particular client, it's just a complete redevelopment from scratch. So clean code, clean HTML, CSS code. And I think there's not much future for agencies with do-it-yourself tools, because it's harder to onboard a client that can build stuff himself using the same tool you are using. Especially now with the AI, where they can build things with a prompt. And coming back to your comments, Dean, I think that one of the reasons, one of the decision factors for the agencies choosing a platform now, if the platform has an AI strategy. If I go with this platform, will it provide the AI progress adoption with it in the box? And I think that's important for us. So we always have the latest and greatest AI application delivered to every partner. And I think that's also a big selling point for our platform for potential agents as well, agencies as well. That's what we see from our point of view. Happy to hear your comments on that. Versatile template is very useful to partners and all that means funny websites. So Max template is not versatile enough.
Are you asking in the group or specific?
Yep.
Max template is not versatile enough. No, that's
okay.
That I could, like, if you do another one-on-one, or you hand me over to one of your team members about that subject, I can present the template I'm using and explain why I'm using it, if that's interesting for you guys.
Absolutely interesting. Yes, Hope. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've been using some of the templates lately, and I like all the built-in functionality, but it is a bit of a pain to try to change the colors and everything. So it would certainly be a lot easier if they were like at the top of the CSS, there were variables used that it says, change this variable to change all the buttons to whatever color you want. It's like I do, I can certainly go through and find all the different spots in the CSS, but it would be a lot easier if it were like just all in one spot where I could just see how to change the color theme.
That's a good point, because we don't go into do it in the builder realm. We just expand the settings section, basically.
Hope a lot of that probably comes down to the age of the templates. Having CSS variables probably not as widely used when they were created. I'm sure if the team developed a template now, there'd be a bit more technology that makes it easier to update, etc.
Yeah, I guess-
Absolutely. Design parts are for, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Hope.
It wouldn't necessarily need to be variables, but just it would be great if there was one spot where you could go in to change the overall look of the site. So like this is the spot where you change all the colors for this bit, and this is the spot where you would change the breakpoint, because sometimes the menu you have is going to be a little bit wider than the menu in the template, and so you need it to change into the hamburger icon a bit earlier than for a more narrow layout. So there's a lot more fiddling than what I think is actually necessary if there was a more a better sort of more robust type template made up.
Yeah, and I think that's the benefit of having a template that's integrated into WebinOne and using, for the things you're talking about, we could use the site globals to control on the admin rather than even coding at all.
Yep.
So that's the benefit of that.
I can give a very easy example on that. It is comfortable to have a template integrated already in WebinOne, and I can just start with it. But what's always different is, for instance, the size of a menu. That's the charm of a already integrated template. I can just go in the admin, I can delete items in the admin and make new items, and it already shows on the menu. But what's not changing is the breakpoint for different responsiveness, for the responsiveness. So I have one breakpoint, so I will have a flawed layout because my menu is longer, has more items than the original template, and I can't change the breakpoint. So that's things like these little things, and I totally get what Hope is saying, because that was my challenge too, exactly before I found what I'm working with at the moment. A good template you can use for advanced development needs to cover all of this. You need to have a way to change the breakpoints for the menu. You need to have variables for colors, because they all depend on each other. So before that, I would go through a CSS file and just search and replace. I would go for the color code. I would find the color code on the front end, see that's the color, and then I would just replace the color in all my CSS files, like the hard way. And modern CSS can do a lot. And if it's commented well, if it's modular, it would be a win for WebinOne, I think, to integrate a theme like that into WebinOne, ready-made with the modules already set up and those capabilities towards an agency who wants rapid development and quick solutions. With the trade-off of I get this, it's not very slim, right?
Okay, that's a lot of food for thought.
But just briefly, at the end of the day, for us, it all comes down of the ease of use. The less time we take, the more money we make. So it's all about the return on investment. So if you give us the good tools to save,
Well, that's
on
what
board.
remains. That's eternal, despite whatever AI progress.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we try to leverage the AI thing into, so we could extend the margins. There you guys. Well, okay. Do we have anything else? I do have. I think that's it on my end. If we don't have any questions, I I'm ready to close down with the final line. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much. It was very inspiring, very optimistic, I must admit. And also, we will call it a pilot quarterly meeting. We'll definitely follow up some of you individually for one-on-one sessions and with the team. So there are a lot of ideas. We will ping you in Slack, I guess. Looking forward to your feedback on the latest Agent One releases. We will all see you in first half of January for the next quarterly meeting. So we may even put this recording available maybe as a closed link. We'll see. But thank you very much who stayed. It's been more than 2 hours. Very constructive. Thank you, Adam, for organizing. Have a wonderful rest of the day.